In a quiet snow-covered town in the northern countryside lived an elderly man named Henry Caldwell. Henry was 72 years old, with silver hair neatly combed back, warm brown eyes, and a slow, thoughtful way of walking that came from a life of hard work. He lived alone in a small wooden house that smelled faintly of old books and pine wood. Once, this house had been full of laughter, voices, and warmth, but time had slowly taken those sounds away. Now only memories remained, especially during Christmas. Henry had been a devoted husband and father in his younger years. His wife Margaret had passed away 12 winters ago, leaving behind a silence that never truly faded. Their only son Daniel had moved far away to the city many years ago, chasing work responsibilities and a faster life. Phone calls became shorter, visits became rarer. Henry never blamed him. He understood how life pulled people in different directions. Still, Christmas nights were the hardest. Every year Henry decorated the same small Christmas tree that Margaret had once loved. He placed old ornaments carefully, each one carrying a story: a wooden star, a glass bell, a faded ribbon. He spoke softly to himself as he worked, remembering how Margaret used to hum carols while decorating. Outside the window, snow fell gently, covering the past and present together. Across town lived Evelyn Brooks, a 69-year-old retired schoolteacher. She had short, gray hair, gentle eyes, and a calm voice that carried years of patience and kindness. Evelyn lived with her adult daughter Clara, but despite the company, she often felt alone in her own way. Clara was busy with work and responsibilities, and though they shared the same house, their worlds rarely crossed deeply. Evelyn loved Christmas for what it once was, when children filled classrooms with handmade cards, when laughter echoed freely. Now Christmas felt quieter, heavier. She volunteered at the community center, helping organize a small Christmas gathering for seniors who had no families nearby. It was her way of giving warmth where she could. One afternoon, a notice was placed in Henry's mailbox inviting him to the community Christmas evening. He hesitated. Crowds felt exhausting. But something inside him whispered that perhaps this Christmas needed to be different. He folded his old coat around himself and decided to go. The community hall glowed softly with warm lights. There were simple decorations, handmade ornaments, and the smell of tea and baked bread. Evelyn stood near the entrance, greeting guests. When Henry walked in, their eyes met briefly. There was no instant spark, only a quiet recognition of shared loneliness and shared age. They sat at the same table by chance. The conversation came slowly at first. Polite words, shared smiles. But as the evening continued, stories unfolded. Henry spoke of Margaret, of the old house of his son Daniel. Evelyn spoke of her years teaching children, of missing deep conversation, of loving Christmas traditions. Time softened around them. As snow fell outside, something gentle formed. Not romance, not youth, but companionship, understanding. When the evening ended, Henry walked home feeling lighter than he had in years. Days passed, leading closer to Christmas Eve. Henry found himself thinking about Evelyn, not in longing, but in gratitude. He decided to invite her for tea. She accepted with a warm smile. They spent Christmas Eve afternoon talking, remembering, laughing quietly. Evelyn admired the ornaments on Henry's tree. Henry listened as she shared stories of children she once taught. Outside, snow continued its soft fall. That evening, Henry received an unexpected phone call. Daniel was coming home. After years of absence, he had decided to surprise his father for Christmas. Henry sat in silence after the call, his hands trembling, not from weakness, but emotion. Christmas morning arrived with pale winter light. Daniel arrived, hesitant, unsure. Father and son stood awkwardly at first, then embraced. Years of distance softened in that moment. Daniel spoke of regrets, Henry spoke of understanding. Later that day, Evelyn arrived for a simple Christmas meal. Daniel met her politely, unaware of her importance. As they sat together, laughter slowly filled the house. The old walls seemed to breathe again. After dinner, Daniel walked outside and called his wife. He told her something had changed. He wanted their children to know this place, this family. As evening fell, Henry watched Evelyn leave wrapped in her coat. He realized Christmas had given him not just reunion, but renewal. Not replacement of the past, but a bridge to the future. Evelyn walked home with a gentle smile. Christus had reminded her that connection never expires. That night, Henry placed a new ornament on the tree. Simple, plain, but full of meaning. And for the first time in many years, Christmas felt whole again.